Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece episode 918. Okay, so before anything else, I have to talk about the way this episode started Act 2 of Wano, because on top of the fact that it opened in its usual stylized way, which is always fucking amazing, just seeing it open like it's a freaking play or something like that. Uh, One thing I appreciated more than anything else about this opener, oddly enough, is how it transitioned into the actual episode, as it very smoothly worked in the introductory setting in such a way where when the episode just jumps, when the episode starts, it doesn't feel all that jarring to jump right into the Inuarashi versus Shuten fight. Like it literally starts with that fight. So the way that pretty much the episode handled the basically Act Two opener of basically of setting up like Wano for us even before we jump into that fight is it really it really helped to set the stage for this episode. Uh, too bad it couldn't. Yeah, too bad it couldn't follow through with that though. With how stylized. Too bad with how stylized that opening is, they couldn't follow through because yeah. Speaking about the awkward part of the episode, let's talk about the Shuten versus Inuarashi fight because the thing about the fight in this episode is that it's one of those fascinating cases where it started off pretty good and pretty good to honestly kind of epic. But the longer it went on, the more the art and animation quality progressively got worse and worse to the point where at least a good half of the episode, or at least the half that had that basically focused on basically on the Kozuki Samurai getting together. That part felt like a patch job, and more often than not, the character models looked either just unfinished or just rushed. And I know it's a common criticism that we regularly have for the anime that the art and animation just looks wonky. But in this case, like it looked really. But in this case, just the wonkiness really showed more than usual. Like in most cases of the anime, like it at least it at least tries at least tries to look good or basically mask in some way mask like or in some way mask that there was like a little bit of a slip up in the quality of art animation. But in this case, just like yeah, I don't know what went wrong. There's just so much. There's so many off model moments and whatnot, and I guess I can only assume that it has to do with the fact of the schedule and just pretty much returning to and just returning after the holiday break or whatnot. But yeah, something really went wrong in the production of this episode. That's all I know. Um, that aside, though, Shuten Moreau does bring up a very interesting point in this episode, which is just because the Kozuki Samurai have returned doesn't necessarily mean everyone's going to rally around them, and that they have to prove there's actually hope in defeating Kaido this time around. Otherwise, all this preparation is going to lead to little more than a massacre. And yeah, the way that Shuten simply addressed Momonosuke, a lot of it's his way of saying a lot of what's going to happen beyond this point does lie squarely on his shoulders. And what Momonosuke decides to do is going to affect whether Wano is saved or not. And he needs whatever happens, he needs to live with that choice. He needs to be the one in order to make that choice and to say, hey, he needs to be the one in order to rally people. He pretty much can't he pretty much can't go hiding behind others. He can't go hiding behind like Kinemon and all the others. He needs to step up and become a leader. He basically he needs to become he needs to become like the man who his father was, that the man that everyone remembers. Um, all right, and all right. So there's two little interesting. So there's little interesting bits of news that's maybe spreading across Wano. First of which is that we learned there's a murderer out there named from Chikamazo the Manslayer. And yeah, that one is definitely a reveal and the reveal behind who Kamazo is definitely one of those that has some very possibly dark implications depending on where the series even goes with it. Because even in the manga, we haven't fully addressed or understood what happened with Kamazo. 'Cause trust me, the reveal you get with Kamazo is kind of interesting. Um, the other is that Ushimitsu Kozo, a thief, is basically stealing from Orochi and giving back to the people of Wano. Basically, this country's version of Robin Hood. And I'm not gonna lie, hearing that name again has really given me fresh perspective on something I never even thought about until now. Like pretty much hearing the name of basically Ushimitsu Kozo again, just hearing that name, it makes me realize something that might have flown over my head, depending on basically whether or not people are in agreement with me or not. Which is that, unfortunately, it requires me to dive into spoilers. So for anyone who, I'll be sure to put a link in the description. I'll be sure to put a timestamp in either in the comment section or the description, and in order for you to jump ahead. But okay, so here it is. You guys ready? Here I go. You see, initially, when I saw this in the manga and later got the reveal that Sanji was going out at night in his raid gear as Soba Mask, I thought he was basically Ushimitsu Kozo, and well, I think he might have been unintentionally branded with that name. I don't think he actually is. Then of course later on in the series we basically got the whole thing with Yasui and the reveal that basically he was possibly like Ushimitsu Kozo, but that in itself was also later debunked. So he was again someone who was only branded with the title as well. Now we come to present day, where the latest chapter of the manga tells us that while Odin was away from Wano, Denshiro has been borrowing funds from Curry and returning them. So yeah, it actually it really makes me realize that probably Denshiro is more than likely like the one who's basically doing this. I think it honestly, when you pretty much know of Denshiro, when you know of Denshiro's past like I have, it makes it kind of the pieces do kind of weirdly line up. Like it all suddenly makes sense of that Denshiro would be the one who's basically just going around and pretty much thieving and thieving from Orochi and getting back to like Curry and all them. Like it's again. So yeah, there's that, I suppose. Now the episode ends by introducing us to King and Queen, two of who are like pretty much two more of basically like two more who's along with Jack who are Kaido's like top officers pretty much, and and on top of the fact that they both look pretty damn menacing, it's funny how only now the playing card theme finally registered with me. Like it's only now hearing their names again after all these years that I'm like, holy shit, how did the playing card thing kind of even go over my head? It was right there in my face. Like honestly, honestly, I don't think I really registered with it in the manga until I'd say shortly after Luffy got thrown into the prison mine is when it finally registered for me in the manga. But yeah, just hearing it in the anime, I'm kicking myself even more of how that one little detail kind of like flew over my head. But yeah, guys, that's all I've got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Mr. Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.